Welcome to the Port of Los Angeles. Thank you for joining us on a virtual tour of one of the busiest harbors in the world. Our annual free harbor tours are traditionally held in May in honor of World Trade Week to highlight the importance of international trade. The Port of Los Angeles is the busiest container port in the nation and 8th in the world when combined with the Port of Long Beach. In 2019, the port moved 9.3 million containers. The port is not supported by taxes. Instead, its revenues come from tariffs for shipping services, property rentals, royalties, and other fees. At the top of the list of items most important to Los Angeles are furniture, vehicles and vehicle parts, clothing, electronic products, and footwear. The top exports are paper products, pet and animal feed, fabric and raw cotton, scrap metal, and soybeans. The port's top trading partners are China, Japan, Vietnam, South Korea, and Taiwan. On today's tour, you'll see container ships carrying cargo to and from ports from around the world. Inside the containers are items you take for granted every day, such as food, clothing, electronic equipment, furniture, auto parts, and more. In fact, 95% of all international trade is done by ship. We're departing from Banning's Landing, site of one of the earliest shipping operations in the harbor. This site was established in 1857 by harbor pioneer Phineas Banning, who is known as the father of the Los Angeles harbor. Coming up on our left is Houston Terminals LLC, also referred to as YTI. YTI handles container cargo from the Alliance container shipping lines. The Alliance includes 1. Ocean Network Express, Yang Ming Lines, HMM, and Hapag-Lloyd. YTI has been a tenant with the Port of Los Angeles since 1991 and is the 5th largest container terminal by acreage at the Port of Los Angeles. On the right is Pasha Terminal. This 40-acre facility is known as a Green Omni Terminal. It is the world's first marine terminal with the ability to generate all of its energy needs from renewable resources. Coming up on our right are terminals used primarily for receiving petroleum products. These handling facilities include tankers, barges, bulk carriers, and storage tanks with convenient rail access. Down this slip are also the facilities for Valero, Shell, Vopak, Kinder Morgan, New Start Energy, PBF Energy, Phillips, and Rio Tinto Minerals U.S. Borax, Inc. Rio Tinto Minerals is one of the oldest established companies doing business here and is the only privately held terminal at the Port of Los Angeles. The turning basin is the entrance to the West Basin, home to Trapak and Yang Ming. The Trapak terminal receives cargo from Mexico, Asia, and the Philippines. It is the first terminal in the world to implement driverless automated straddle carriers that work in concert with automated stacking cranes. The Yang Ming terminal features on-dock rail, so containers go from the waterfront right onto a train, taking many big rig trucks off the highways. The trains then head to downtown rail yards via the Alameda Corridor. The Alameda Corridor moves cargo faster and has reduced vehicle emissions by eliminating 200 rail street crossings. Ahead is the historic Wilmington Clock Tower and former cruise ship terminal. Up until the 1960s, it was the hub of passenger ocean liner travel. Our next site is China Shipping Terminal. China Shipping is equipped to service ultra-large container vessels with a capacity of up to 14,000 TEUs. If all containers were 20 feet in length, that would be 14,000 units. The China Shipping Terminal at the Port of Los Angeles was the first in the world to offer container ships clean electrical power plug-in service while at dock, instead of using diesel fuel. The China Shipping Terminal and neighboring Yangming Terminal are effectively one terminal, sharing the truck gate and on-dock rail facility. The joint terminal is operated by West Basin Container Terminals, WBCT. At the Port of Los Angeles, this clean electrical power is called AMP, Alternative Maritime Power. This program allows ships at berth to run lighting, heating, refrigeration, and other vital onboard systems on electricity. One benefit of this clean alternative, it has eliminated 95% of air pollutants from ships that plug in at berth. The port works continually to ensure all its future and current tenants adapt to cleaner technology. ZIM is an independent line with 5 vessels offering expedient shipping services for high-value merchandise. We are in the turning basin where really long ships, sometimes 1,000 feet in length, turn around so they can be tied up at berth facing toward the ocean. The ships dock facing toward open sea in case there's an emergency and they have to be towed or moved away in a hurry. We are now sailing under the Vincent Thomas Bridge. It was built in 1963 by the state of California to connect San Pedro and the end of the Harbor Freeway with Terminal Island and Long Beach. The bridge is just over 2 miles long and towers 35 stories above the water. At sunset, the bridge is lit by magnificent blue energy-efficient lights installed in partnership by the port and the community. Beyond being energy-friendly, they are also wildlife-friendly and do not disturb the migratory birds who make the Vincent Thomas Bridge their home. Located under the bridge is the Catalina Express Terminal. You can buy a ticket to board a boat or a helicopter to take you to Catalina Island. Earlier, we saw the former cruise terminal, and here is her predecessor, the World Cruise Center. It is one of the busiest cruise centers on the West Coast. It is also outfitted with AMP technology. Cruise ships are able to plug into electrical power while at dock, just as the container ships do. Solar power is also one of the many technologies being used at the Port of Los Angeles. The 71,500 square foot, 1 megawatt system installed at the cruise center is capable of generating approximately 1.2 million kilowatt hours of electricity annually. We are coming up on Fire Station 112, which houses the world's most powerful fireboat, the Warner Lawrence. The port built a fleet of fireboats for the fire department with the most modern technology. In a major harbor such as the Port of Los Angeles, fire protection and firefighting services are extremely important. We are approaching the downtown harbor water cut, designed to accommodate visiting vessels and watercraft. Boaters can dock here for a few hours to enjoy the downtown restaurants and shops. The Los Angeles Maritime Museum has a fascinating history. Before the Vincent Thomas Bridge was built, ferry boats used to carry people and cars between San Pedro and Terminal Island to work in the canneries or on farms. When the Vincent Thomas Bridge opened, the ferry boats were no longer needed. The ferry building was then converted into the Los Angeles Maritime Museum, which tells the fascinating history of ships and the port. We are now passing the future site of West Harbor. This 30-acre property will be a vibrant, family-friendly destination with dining, retail, fresh markets, boutique-style office space with recreational opportunities and additional ocean access for visitors. Opening date to be announced soon. As we turn around, on our right is Terminal Island. In the 1800s, it was known as Rattlesnake Island. It is about 3 miles across and is home to several international container terminals. Containers are the fastest and safest ways to ship cargo. The cargo can be clothing or stereos or bicycles or fresh fruit or even frozen meat. About half of the cargo coming through the Port of Los Angeles stays in the Southern California region, and the other half is sent to the rest of the United States. The towering structures you see are container gantry cranes. These special machines were developed specifically for container terminals. Depending upon how and where they are built, they cost between $10 and $20 million each. These gantry cranes operate on electricity, and much of the heavy equipment you see moving around is being phased out for cleaner alternative fuel vehicles as part of the port's efforts to reduce vehicle emissions. SA Recycling is one of the nation's largest processor, recycler, and exporter of high-grade scrap steel metal. The company buys and recycles more than 60% of the total amount of scrap metal in the Los Angeles area. It's mostly old cars and old metal appliances that are bought in and cut up into small pieces. The metal is loaded aboard special ships called bulk carriers and shipped overseas, where it is made into new cars, appliances, and electronics. Looking ahead are the Badger Avenue Bridge and the new Highway 47 replacement bridge, which mark the approximate dividing line between the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. These bridges form a vital transportation link for trucks, cars, and trains between Terminal Island and the rest of the Southland. The East Basin and nearby Cerritos Channel are home to several of the port's marinas. More than 5,000 pleasure craft call the Port of Los Angeles home. Thousands of cars are imported annually through this receiving facility operated by WWL Vehicle Services America. This is where vehicles are processed, outfitted with special parts, and customized before being trucked or carried by rail to auto dealers across the country. Specialty American vehicles are also exported from this facility to destinations around the world. Now we are passing Fire Station 49, sister station to Fire Station 112, which we viewed earlier in the tour. The Port of Los Angeles has nearly 3,000 acres of water to safely manage. Therefore, fire protection services are extremely important. Here's a fun fact. Housed here at Fire Station 49 is the historic Bethel F. Gifford. She was commissioned in 1962. Up ahead is MLETC, the Maritime Law Enforcement Training Center. It is the nation's first port-based maritime law enforcement training center. It is the only post-certified and federally recognized regional maritime law enforcement training center on the West Coast. At the core of port security is the dedicated Los Angeles Port Police, a specialized law enforcement agency that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to keep the port safe for shipping and landside operations. The port works diligently with the U.S. Coast Guard, Transportation Security Administration, Department of Homeland Security, and the Los Angeles Police Department, Los Angeles Sheriff's Department to enhance security programs, equipment, and personnel. Current measures in place include the Sea Marshal Program, Port Security Task Force, and Operation Safe Commerce. We are returning to Bannings Landing, site of the Bannings Landing Community Center, which opened in 2001. The award-winning design is in the form of a ship and reflects the community's maritime traditions. The Port of Los Angeles built the center as a window on the water for the community of Wilmington. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed your harbor tour of the Port of Los Angeles.